Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Amused Jester. My name is Junior, and today we're going to take a look at Evilyn from Mondo 1/6 scale. This is the Deluxe timed edition. Yes, I have seen photos of this one already, so I'm really excited to see it. I mean, what are the chances we're actually going to get a figure this good looking? But this is really good looking. Um, it's, yes, I mean, like I saw this just as you guys saw it too. So this is definitely something that I'll probably frame. That looks just awesome. And I mean, I guess I should show you everything else, but it's just everything else is like boring. It's just that front one is just really exciting. It's still magnetic. That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this out and I'm gonna frame it. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna frame it. I'm completely out of space, but that is an awesome painting. Anyway, let's see what it looks like in the front. Okay, so I can already tell that it's not the skin color is somewhat different, and that's the opening page that you'll see when you get yours. And here's a photograph of it displayed. So let me how am I gonna do this? Maybe I should change camera views, and then I can unbox it or remove it from the tray in speed motion, and then we'll review it individually. Okay, so welcome back. Full disclosure, this is actually about a week or so off the unboxing introductory part. I had to hold off on it because of certain things that came up. And we'll talk about that more in the video. So what is gonna happen? I'll show off the accessories first, okay? It's gonna look kind of weird. So it comes with, aside from the two hands that she's got on right now, she's got each pair is basically almost a mirror of each side, meaning that if the left hand has it, then a similar designed right hand would have it as well. So something that grips, something that has sort of gestural pointing look, as you can see, close-fisted hands, a relaxed hand like that, and then this one that's kind of like, I suppose you can use it like this, but it's very close in design when it comes to this, but they're different. There's two types of staffs, the longer version and the short version. A knife of some sort, a ceremonial knife or something. Another hand, this is the only hand design that's singular. There's no other one for the right side. This is for the, I'm sorry, for the left side. This is for her right side, and which has the swirling effect. And this is attached to the hand, so you can't remove it. It comes with, as you can see, 4 different types of heads. One where it's closed mouth. Second one, which is kind of like a smiling. One that's angry. And one without the crown. She also comes with this sort of fabric, which is actually goes around her waist. The cape is two-sided, and of course she comes with the regular base. Now I'm kind of confused. I'm not sure if this is the base that she comes with, because in the other reviews that I've checked, theirs is rounded. It doesn't have the squarish thing. So I apologize for that, but it's basically the same, almost the same base as any Mondo has. This is also where they changed to the rounded style, and it doesn't have the M logo anymore. But yeah, I do want to note that since I'm not sure if this is the actual stand and base that came with her, because I also have this one. As you can see, this one's shinier than this one. And I also want to note, and this is the reason why I got confused, is the slot here changed. It won't fit in this one. In fact, if you look, I'm not sure if you'll notice, this is slightly thinner than this one. This is wider. So I don't think this is the one that came with her, but it's basically the same thing. But I do want to note that this does not fit that particular base, even though it looks exactly the same. I don't know why they changed that, but it just did. Then of course it comes with Screech over here and the base for Screech. Now those are the accessories and the basic figure. Oh, and also it comes with this, sort of like a loincloth armor type. So those are the accessories that come with Evilyn and the base. Now let's look at the detail of certain things and then we'll comment on them. We'll start off with the hands. So the hands, I won't be picking up all of them. I just want to show the quality that's going on in here. Now, initially, I was disappointed with the lack of paint details on the hands. Very gestural. It's kind of soft in terms of sculptural design. But I'm okay with that because she's female anyway. I don't want to see veins and all that, that kind of skin work on a female figure. But the paint is, the first time I took it, I was kind of disappointed with the paint. And I commented on it because it's very plain. Oops. I don't know why my camera keeps shifting. It's very plain. But as I was comparing it from the earlier videos, earlier figures, and time has moved on, I did begin to consider that that's not a negative because it's been consistent. The earlier figures, such as Shira or Tila, is painted the same way. Meaning, if you notice, there's no fingernail paint or anything like that. There's no reds or blacks or anything like that. It's just basic paint, right? So, in terms of the quality of the paint, I will hold off on the value because it's been consistently like that. Although I do wish that it was better painted, or they treated the paint job on the hands similarly to what they would do with the figures and the armor. So that's for the hands. Here's the armor, skirt armor. As you can see, it's nicely painted. It's not a lot of paint application, but that's on the design of the character. What is there is painted well, right? There's a design and everything. And here's the back. I also want to comment on this, why they did it like this, where it's just floating. I wish that they would design a better option for something like this, because it's kind of, it gets annoying, and I'll show it to you later. Here is the hand that has a swirling effect. This looks good. The swirling magical effect, the way it was casted in this translucent thing, you can see this plane of, this is basically part of the color of the material, so it plays with the light, as you can see. So that's well done on the choicing as well. Here is the long staff. Now here is a good example of one of the things I was pointing out. So this is a different casted material. You have the transparency, so that's cool. Look at how the light plays through. That's well done. This part of the staff, well painted. Look at all the details that's popping out with the washes and highlights and everything, right? And then you go down to this part right here, which is detailed in sculpture, but it's just plastic. There's no paint differentiation. And then you get to this part, which is good, and then you get to the skull, right? So this part of the staff kind of stands out. I suppose it's okay because, you know, you have a lot of gripping hands in this one. You'll probably have paint rub, but it does stand out when you're looking at it. This is the short version of the staff. So I kind of like that. It's not a direct copy of the longer staff where you just see this as long. It's actually different. It's smaller, has fewer details, as you can see from the base over here. Even the orb is smaller. But look at the difference between the two. Now this is painted and this is not, and this is what I'm talking about where this is causing paint rub. So I understand. But I mean, at this point, paint rub can be considered as battle damage anyway, or worn. But look at this part. That's amazing. Look at the sheen on that one compared to the dullness of the plastic. Right? So that's a good comparison between the two. And how paint really does adds a lot to the figure. We're going to go with Screechy's stand, another interesting point. As you can see, nice detail and everything, but this is just bare plastic, and this has a wash. You can see at the bottom over here. There's a slight differentiation in color right here compared to the top. You can see like a dark wash that went into the crevice of that design. You can see here the wash much more better. So then you come up here and it's just plain plastic. It's not a big deal, but it does make things pop out or stand out more when you see something like this. The Screech figure is amazing. Look at the detail that's going on with this one, accentuated by the paint. And the wings are ball jointed, so you can move it around. And the ball joint shows us the excellent point of view where it's just unpainted plastic and you have this beautiful detail and paint going on. Even this one is not just bare plastic. It's got a nice subtle change of paint in there, see? Thrusters back there, it's painted. This is well done. For an accessory, this is well done. And that's it. That's the only point of articulation is the wings, but that's fine. Next, I want to talk about the skirt. The skirt, this part is better done than the cape. I will say that much right now. However, it's something that I'm not going to use, and I'll show it to you why. It just makes it bulky and everything. But the way it's made, you get a clasp, you get a small chain, right? It flows well and everything. This one, I feel, the cape, I feel, is a bit more of a disappointment and poorly designed. The material in the back looks good. This one sort of feels cheap, and it's not because of because of how it's made, but because of the material. See how it wrinkles easily, but it wrinkles in the wrong fashion. Because of how it wrinkles, it destroys the scale of the figure. You know what I mean? But the back looks good. I almost prefer as if they had just retained the back and not have to deal with this double-sided or double cloth fiber. But worse than that is the design of having it so thin. It just looks so thin once I put it on the figure. And if you can put it in the figure. The design of this one was pretty thought out, and I can't believe that they did not do any kind of trying to put it on the figure themselves so they can see the frustration that this occurred that does. I'll talk about that more as I try to show you guys how this is put on, or how it's supposed to be put on. So finally we come to the headpieces. Now this is a beautiful face. I don't know if I'm going to display her with out the crown, because it's evil and I feel like it needs to have a crown. I also want to point out that there is that smudge over there. That's a paint smudge. Not a paint smudge, but a paint error, because I can't remove it and everything. And we'll talk about that some more. But look at how beautifully classic this face is. It's not realistic, but it's just beautifully classic. Very, very nice lines. The paint application is well done. Beautiful eyeshadows and everything. Look. That's just really, really good. Here's the face with the angry expression. I actually prefer the one uncrowned than this one. The nice expression and everything, but the face is just, I don't know. The face is just too beautiful to have such an angry expression. It's good to have the option though. The paint application is basic in terms of, like, it's still a cartoon character, but complicated in terms of the shading. See how the eyeshadow is going on? And I really like how they pull that off, that nice balance. And then you put in the crown. Yeah, it's too bad this is plain. I mean, like, this is so beautiful right here that you expect something here as well. But, you know, it's okay. It's not like I'm watching her from the back. So, yeah, nice, nice. This face I liked as well. This one, there's a subtleness to the expression of the sculpture, of the what the sculptor did in this one. The eyebrows are not symmetrical in terms of height. The shape is different. What I mean by that is, if you look at the lips are almost symmetrical. I would say symmetrical in both sides, but the eyebrows, you can see this one's lower, this one's higher. So again, it's a nice balance between a cartoon and a complicated face. Yeah. And of course, the crown detail is the same. The final face is on a figure. This is my most favorite expression. Very, very subtle expression in the face. I'm glad this is unblemished. Like I said, I've had a week to look at this, and still, every time I look at this figure, I keep thinking of that princess from the Flash Gordon movie. Princess Aura, I think is her name. This face just reminds me so much of her. And because of that, I keep thinking of the voice of that actress when I'm thinking of Evilyn. It's like, how would you describe it? Deep, gravelly, lustrous voice. I think would fit Evilyn very well. Well, since we're here in this face, we might as well look at the figure completely, right? So we have the faux fur going on in the back here. Very nice detail from Evilyn. I have no complaints in the armor part, even in the skin part colorization of this one. Very beautiful, very subtle. I do have a complaint about this one. It's too loose. It just keeps... I wish there was a way so it's like not as loose, but we have we have had that since Tila anyway, so I'm kind of used to that. Nice texturing here. See? Look at that texture. Differentiates it from the bodice. And then look at the subtle painting. That's really nice. I love that. This part. Then you compare it to this one. This one becomes plain compared to what's going on up top. You know what I mean? But I'm okay. Everything just goes up and points you towards the face, which is the most important part of the figure. And this is the second blemish. Paint. What's going on? I don't know where it came from. It could have been from Screech or something when they were packaging and everything. But yeah. Then look at the muscle tone going on in the legs, which I love. The paint application is not the matte paint application that we used to have in the older Mondo toys from Skeletor, before Skeletor Deluxe. It's a little more smoother and everything, but I also want to point out the breast area, and I'll talk about that. Actually, you know what? I'll compare it now. There is some subtle shading going on with this one, some violet and everything in the deep crevices of her breast, and kind of in the neck area. We see that more with Tila, as you can see, right? But it's cool how they did it here, because it's much more difficult because of the pale skin design of Evilyn. Again, it just makes it more ethereal, the figure, but it really, really looks good. Articulation wise, it's basically the same as any Mondo. I say for the head, twist it around, move forward. There's nothing on the bicep. It's here in the elbow, the rotation. Your elbow basically just gives you close to 90. It could at least get you back down here, which is very, very important for the females anyway. There's a cut here right below the breast area, but I feel like that's more, you can't really do anything with it because of the way it's sculpted. I would say that's basically it. There's another one here at the waist. Again, not a lot of movement. It's a lot of fight, and I'm so afraid to move that because it might snap off. Forward, backwards, not a lot as well. Mondo, I will have to say, I do get scared moving it because there have been parts where it would snap off. So just be, I don't see these as toys. I see these as posable statues, especially for Mondo. It's not, doesn't have the same range of articulation as I have with Hot Toys or with G.I. Joe Classified 6-inch scale, you know? But you sacrifice that articulation with the aesthetic. So that's as far as it goes for the hip area. You have a double jointed knee. This one's a little bit better. But again, you sacrifice aesthetic to the articulation, which is the reverse for the most of the figures. This one, of course, gives you a ball jointed ankle, which gives you a lot more range, but again, you sacrifice the look. Now, the older male figures didn't have ball joints. They have sculpted ankle joints, which looks better, but a lot less of range. However, it's a lot more steadier because of the lack of range. It basically almost makes it a one single ankle. So there is Evilyn. So now we'll try and talk about the skirts. So this one's fairly easy to do. I'm almost tempted to attach a magnet to this one. It would just make this whole process so much easier. Okay. So it's cloth. There's nothing hanging onto it. So it'll tend to bunch up, especially because it is longer than the body or the figure itself. The fact that this is floating and then you have to add this on makes the whole area bulky. So it's almost like you pose it, you decide how it looks, and don't play with it, because at that point, see how I have it right now? That's good like that. And then what am I going to do with this one? Because now this is bulky with the cloth, and now this won't fit at all. So maybe I can kind of use this to somehow put this at an angle and kind of rubber band it around these two things which are bulky. As you can see now, I mean, I know she's laying horizontally, but the issue remains when she's standing up. So I'm not entirely sure what to do with the skirt. That's why I'm not planning on using it. And it also destroys the look of the figure around the hips, because then you're covering it up. And the bulkiness of the cloth or the fabric is just messing around with the proportions of the figure. So I'm not entirely sure, but that's how it looks. I feel like if you were to futz around with it, you can come with a better solution or better look for it. See how I'm kind of pulling it to the back to kind of minimize the bulkiness, puffiness of the fabric? Then it kind of works, right? Maybe this would be a good area to put wires or something. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. It just feels too bulky. Now, here is the cape. I'll show you how it's supposed to be done. I've never been able to do it. It's very, very irritating. So first, we'll put the arms down. This is supposed to go underneath the faux fur, because these 2 points of holes, as you can see, this one is supposed to hook into this horn. This is too bulky. So you really, really need to get this under the faux fur. Like tight, like that. That's the only way. And then you have to deal with this one. That's the only way, so that you have enough material to put around this horn. Look at how much struggle I'm doing with this thing. And then you have to put it in those small holes. This is ridiculous. I need two of my hands to lift this up, this part right here, so I can properly put this cape underneath it. And I can't do it, so I'm gonna have to find something. I don't recommend, oh here, let me use this one, the point of this one, so I can lift this out of the way. I apologize, there's emergency services coming through. At the same time, see how this thing's pulling back? Because it's too tight. And when you finally get your concentration and hook this up here, let me see if I can do it on camera, which is irritating. It really is. Okay, got that part in, right? Get that secure. You're gonna work on this one. Oh, it's not lifting. It was lifting before, but maybe I can finally successfully put this on. And I'm so afraid that this might tear. So you have to push this in completely down because it keeps lifting up. I don't know why this is finally going down there, but this one is showing the issue I had earlier. I think the faux fur, if you successfully put it on top of the cape, would work to push that whole thing down. Ugh, this is so annoying. Alright, this is the very first time I've actually successfully put this cape on. And I don't think it's worth it. So I'm gonna, this is not completely on too. I can already see it lifting. And I don't wanna, I want to make sure the faux fur is above it. Yes, there you go. That's got to be, but it's already lifting. Here, see? It's got to be a little bit more down. There's, like, if this horn had a slight ridge here, that would catch the fabric, maybe. Or why not just put a chain around here and just do it like that? I don't know. So, here's how it looks. This is not wired, by the way. Because of the design of the shoulder, it kind of lifts it, as you can see, like that. It feels like it should be like that. That would look much better. And the other thing that might have helped this is maybe something here in the back that would just pull and tug on this a little bit. So you have this look. Again, I think this one would have helped a lot with wires. I'm going to leave this cape on right now so you guys can see how this figure looks with the full regalia of costume that's given to us. And we'll compare her with She-Ra and Teela. Alright, so there she is standing side by side with Teela and She-Ra. Unfortunately, She-Ra, the way her hair is sculpted, that's basically, I can't have her look down a little more. So she's always going to be looking up because of the two bangs or the two hairs going on over here. So she's slightly taller than Teela, it looks like. And then She-Ra slightly taller than both of them. And you can see how the skirt is kind of like completely covering the bottom half of her body. And it's just too billowy, too puffy for me. And then you have the cape over here. Again, I don't think it serves any benefit for having the two fabric on. So let me remove them and we'll look at them again in comparison. So see, I mean, without the fabric, you can see the whole figure much better. Now, I really want this skirt, front skirt armor that she's got on, but it just makes this whole area too busy. Like, it's kind of working, but at the same time, it's kind of breaking apart so much of what's going on in her hips. Right now, I think I'm okay with it because I really do want this on her. But yeah, so that's Evilyn with Teela and She-Ra without the fabric on, which I feel is a whole lot better. So in terms of release, She-Ra was here first, Teela, and then Evilyn. I did not get the upgraded She-Ra because I feel like this is good enough for me. However, I wanted to point out the progression in terms of sculpture. I'm going to lift up her skirt a little bit here because you can see a lot of progression going on when it comes to the leg sculpture that they have. So here's She-Ra. Female, thigh, it's good. but not a lot of definition going on in terms of musculature. And then you go back to, then here's Evilyn. So you see a lot of definition going on here. There's a muscle group here, muscle group here, there's one here. That's actually visible more with Tila, or it started with Tila. So you have that kind of a shape in the thigh. You don't see that on Shira, as you can see. It's more basic in terms of sculpture. On Evelyn's bicep area, the arm area is much more bulkier. Shira's is thinner, as you can see. See? Which, admittedly now, but I mean, like, I'm not going to spend another $250, $300 to upgrade my Shira, but I can say right now that there is an upgrade between the sculpture, between these two. Not much with Tila and Evilyn. I feel like they've upgraded the body here and used what they learned from Tila and given it to Evilyn. But it's not like, I don't think it's the same exact sculpt. I don't think they're reusing stuff. So you have more, a little bit slight definition here that's not here on Tila. So I think they used the basic shape from Tila and applied it to Evilyn and then kind of messed around with a little bit to personalize it for Evilyn. That's in terms of the body. But as far as the facial sculpt, this is the same design, different features. Again, I see the upgrade going on from Shira to Evilyn. You can see there's not a lot of going in the eye makeup area going on with Shira, but you can see a lot of difference from Shira to Tila, and that carries over from Tila to Evilyn, which is an amazing accomplishment given that Evilyn has a very pale skin, so they're kind of limited to what they can apply to her. Like, for example, they didn't apply the eye makeup from Tila to Evilyn because of her pale skin, but you do see it from the top. So yeah, a very nice transition. It's Evilyn has a unique pale skin properties that makes it harder to make it pale and have the features that's carried over from Tila. So let's talk about value and how I felt with Evilyn on the first review, which obviously is not being shown. So when I first reviewed Evilyn, I was disappointed with the paint application on some of the accessories. But as I got to play with her some more, and played and compared it with Tila and Shira, I realized that the parts that I was disappointed in wasn't unique to Evilyn. It was basically around, they were showing in the other figures anyway. So to comment that I'm disappointed on what I'm seeing on Evilyn would be unfair since it's been there initially. I feel like I was disappointed because of the paint blemish that I got from the figure. And these two, it's just a small paint blemish, and it's almost unnoticeable. But these are going up in prices, so when I'm valuing this, I'm always also considering the fact that how much further can I go on with this line, especially now that we got Mumra and we're now getting charged for shipping and tariffs, which is around $50 or $60 on top of the existing figure price, which I really don't like. And it really increases the devaluation of the figure for me. So I had to hold off on the review because I wanted to see what Mondo does um, in terms of my issue. Now, I've had problems with with some of my figures before, with He-Man getting sheared off on the waist, and Teela's arm socket here breaking off. But those were physical defects which I had to turn that in because I can't have figures like that. Now this one, the defects in this one are so minimal that I do kind of feel guilty, because I feel like I probably could have tried fixing it, and I did. I washed it with soap and everything. Nothing too abrasive, but it just won't come off. The paint is basically ingrained into the figure, unless I want to do the whole repainting thing, which is not something I'm willing to do. So I reached out to Mondo for their solution. And their solution is this. Now, I put on the hands because it did not come with hands, but I have plenty of hands. They gave me a secondary headstock that does not have the blemish. And freaking A, they sent me a whole body without the paint blemish. It's basically a second figure. Now, I want to say that do not take advantage of Mondo for doing this, please. Because if you do, then eventually this type of customer service from Mondo will disappear. Please do not take advantage of it, as this is part of the review. Now, I have to point out that even though the prices are going up, the tariffs, the shipping, and everything like that, and it does, like the tariffs, Mondo can't do anything about it. I don't know why they started charging for shipping, and we do know, because of the shipping fiasco that's going on as well. So they're charging more for that as well. But Mondo has a value being offered to their customers that no other company that I've ever seen do. Sideshow used to be very, very close way back when they started, but then they started cutting off on that. And but Mondo is still doing it now, and this has been over 2 years or so since they started doing this, or I'm not sure if they did it even before, but it's been 2 years, where they will completely provide 100% customer satisfaction. Being the result is like they're literally giving you a second body to do. And they did that with my Teela as well. They gave me a second body and a fist when this one broke off. And the peg broke off inside, so I don't know how to fix that. But it basically doubles the value of the product because of their complete customer satisfaction guarantee. Now, yes, you do have to deal with the hassle of sending it in, but I received this less than a month from my complaint. So I didn't, unlike Teela and He-Man, I think He-Man was the other one that happened to, where I had to wait for months. This was basically here within, I would say, a week of my sending them the issue with the email. That I cannot stress enough the value of what they've done. They didn't ask for this back. They didn't ask for me to ship it. They just said, okay, we see the issue, we'll send it to you. No problems, no hassle. There's nothing to aggravate me whatsoever. All I see is complete positive from getting a second figure like this, and a complete increase in value of the price that I paid for. So I'm like, product wise, the value initially would be maybe 10. Base price of, I believe, $260 plus tax, ended up at $280. $280 for one 12-inch figure is a hefty change. They're now in direct competition with Hot Toys. They're delivering a different kind of product that you have to compensate in terms of like articulation. No, it doesn't have as much articulation, but they're capturing a lot of the aesthetic that we want for this kind of figure. It's not realistic. It's, it doesn't have, the fabric is not as successful as Hot Toys and everything, but their prices are getting up there. That's why it was like basic price of 10. I know what I was going into. I've had a lot of Mondo products before, and I decided to go on still to purchase the product. Now, going onward, the problem is Mumra is bigger. Yes. It's more expensive, but the additional shipping, the tariffs, that's going to apply to all figures going forward. And it's just killing me. I had to basically stop the Thundercats line with just Lionel and Mumra. And I really, really want to get at least Tigra. I mean, not Tigra, Chitara. But once you get Chitara, then you're stuck with you not needing to get Tigra and Panthro. But I just saw their Tigra, their Chitara design, and I did not like it. I really did not like it. It's too busy. I don't think it balances well with classic and modification design. And that made it easy for me not to go all more on the Lion-O line. I was kind of getting sidetracked. I was dealing with the valuation of the experience. Because of Mondo's customer service and their dedication for complete customer satisfaction, providing me with a secondary body and head sculpt, obviously the value now goes up to 15. I was like, it's unbeatable. There is no other company that's doing that. That's also making the experience easy and pleasant when exchanging getting a replacement. So yeah, obviously my value system will differ from yours because of the defect and because of how Mondo dealt with me and my issues. But yeah, the product itself, the value is 10, base price being 260. The experience, including Mondo's customer service and their backing 100% guarantee on their product, increases that value from 10 to 15 because it's unbeatable. I mean, I would probably even push it past 15. I can't give it a 20 because of what I experienced with the initial figure, because the faults that's occurring with the fabric and the hands and everything. It's not a perfect figure, so I will give it a 15, which is pretty high considering I usually value my products around the average price of 12. Again, this has the same issue as the initial product where I'm afraid to move this part, but now that I have Tila over here, which I've had for a while, look at how much looser she is. I mean, she's actually almost flopping in here, and she has almost the same basic design as this one. So I feel like mine is just basically stiff joints that might improve, because now you can see a lot more movement on Tila, which I feel like, and Evilyn doesn't even have this thing going on. So I feel if Tila can do that, then Evilyn should be able to do that as well. So it's just very stiff joints that I need to loosen up with warm or hot water. Anyway, that's it for my review of Mondo's 1/6 scale Deluxe Time Edition for Evilyn. This is a really good figure. It's got some faults. I feel it's kind of too late now, but I really feel like you should have gone and done with the... Always go for the deluxe version, because the deluxe version in terms of pricing with regular, it's only a difference, or it was only a difference of $15 to $20, and you're getting so much more. The faces is where the value is when it comes to these figures. And the fact that the deluxe version comes with 4 faces, I don't know what the regular comes in with. You have to go in on the deluxe. There's really no question. whatsoever. But yeah, that's it for my review of Mondo's 1/6 scale Masters of the Universe figures. I'm really saddened by the fact that I wasn't able to expand more on the Thundercats line. I understand why they're raising their prices. Mondo is a company that I feel like is not as greedy as Hasbro. They are trying to consider the fact that they are their prices are going up, but I mean, I feel like they're trying. It's just, as a customer, as somebody who's paying out the money, I can see they're trying the attempt, but it doesn't help me the fact that I'm having to pay an additional $60 because of tariffs and shipping. There's just no getting around to it. The prices are going up, and I can't follow them where they're going. So I'm not going to be getting any of their 1/12 scale He-Man Master of the Universe. The Thundercats, I'm stopping with Lion-O and Mumra. And for Masters of the Universe, I have to get Sorceress. I don't care what the price is. I'll have to get her. But that's basically it where I'm stopping. It's a good product, and their customer service is beyond impeccable. It increases the value so much more than one could hope for. But unfortunately, I can't really follow. Most collecting now is just getting too far for me. But anyway, that's another topic. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys on my next review. Bye.